start your book. Yes, I said it. Don't go back at all. Make it a priority. I know you've heard this word a million times. If you don't set a deadline for yourself. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I'm Uche, a 20-year-old writer based in Nigeria, also a student by the way. And throughout my writing journey from my Wattpad days to becoming a self-published author and now publishing my debut novel a second time, I've learned quite a number of first drafts. In this video, I'll be telling you how I finished my debut novel Redeemed in 3 months. For context, I started writing Redeemed in the middle of October of 2023 and finished in the first week of January of 2024. In this video, I'm going to be giving you practical tips because we love being practical over here. It's not all about telling you this and telling you that, but setting practical goals daily. In order to attain success, the first thing you have to do is change your mindset. You can't write a book if you're not in the right headspace. Prior to writing Redeemed, I was writing a series that I published on Wattpad. I didn't complete the series by the way, but the last book in that series, I had been trying and struggling to write that book, but time and time again, it wasn't working out. I knew that I wasn't supposed to write that book. I wasn't invested in the story anymore, but I kept on forcing myself for months, probably from June to September. June, July, August, September. That's 4 months. I was forcing myself to write a book and I couldn't get anywhere with it. I probably didn't even reach 10 chapters writing that book. 4 months. That's to show you that you must be invested in the book you're writing. If you're not invested in it, if you don't love it, it's not going to work. You have to want to write the book. You have to want to complete that first draft if it is going to ever happen. Also, another thing under shifting your mindset is that you have to accept that your first draft is going to be horrible. There is no going around it. Your first draft could be the story of your dreams, yes, but there are going to be grammatical errors, typographical errors, probably even plot holes and other mistakes that you have to go back and revise. So you have to accept that your first draft is going to be horrible. If not, if you don't accept it, you're just shooting yourself in the leg. Now, onto the practical tips. The first and foremost thing I'll tell you to do is set a deadline for yourself. If you don't set a deadline for yourself, you're basically giving yourself an extended period of time to finish that book. You can finish it in a month, you can finish it in a year, you can finish it in 2 years because you haven't set a deadline. But the moment you set a deadline, you treat it as an assignment or maybe a project from your boss at work, an assignment from your lecturer in school. There is no way you wouldn't work in that time frame. Remember, as I said earlier, you have to want to write the book. If you don't want to write the book, any other thing I tell you to do is nonsense. After wanting to write the book, you set a deadline for yourself. It could be 3 months like me, but if you're a beginner, 3 months is pushing it. When I decided to buy the bullet in October of 2023, my aim was to finish by the end of the year, and that was what I worked around. I didn't end the year finishing it because I was in school. School has its own issues, but I finished in the first week of January. So if you don't rise to the sky, you fall among the stars. Something along those lines. I can't really remember the quote. I'll put on the screen if I can find it. But because I set the deadline for the end of 2023, I ended up finishing a week into 2024. If you catch my drift, you have to set a deadline. The second thing I will say is to set apart a time every day to write your book, and this has to be a non-negotiable. When I was writing Redeemed, I woke up. I sleep early by the way, so this is not crazy. I woke up by 2 a.m. every day, and I think immediately I woke up, I wrote. Then I would do my Bible study and do every other thing. But I set 2 to 4 a.m. for writing. Now my routine has changed, and maybe we'll talk about my current writing routine in a different video. But you have to set apart a time every single day. If you want to take this a step further, set a word count goal for yourself, a daily word count goal. I set a goal to write a chapter every day. Granted, I missed 1 or 2 days here and there, and that was why I didn't finish writing the book at the estimated time. My next tip is to avoid the trap of going back to edit while writing. That is a temptation that I don't want to fall into at all. Because the moment you go back, and if you're a writer, you're most likely a reader. So you've read good books, you have your favorite authors, you know authors that write so well. If you go back, especially if you are writing the same genre you are reading, I advise to continue writing, continue writing, continue writing, and by the end you go back in your revisions process. You avoid that temptation at all costs because it's only going to demoralize you. You begin to compare yourself with your favorite authors or authors you know that write that genre so well. So if at all anything, don't go back at all. The next tip I'm going to give you is pant your book. Yes, I said it. I've been a pantser ever since my second book, yes, because I plotted my first book. That was the only book I ever plotted beginning to end. But every other book after that, I've pants them. If you know that plotting is going to be a hindrance, just pants. Because if you keep on waiting and say you have to complete every single scene, every single chapter before you write, and there are some scenes they are not fully formed in your mind or in your imagination, that is just a source of procrastination. A major thing I'll tell you to do is pant your book. Now, contrary to the previous advice I just gave, if you're not like me and you love to plot and you know that plotting is going to help, then go ahead and plot. But I would advise that you give yourself a deadline while plotting as well, not more than 2 weeks, not more than a week even, because it's basically like you outlining the major scenes in a chapter and as a whole, the major scenes in your book. So if you know that panting is not going to take you anywhere, you're just going to waste your time doing that, then plot your book. Plot it, but set a deadline for plotting. Don't use it as a okay, I'm still plotting my book, I'm still plotting my book, and before you know it, a month goes by, 2, 3, 4 months go by, and then you've not started writing your book. So yes, set a deadline if you know that plotting is definitely going to help you. My next tip is consistency. I know you've heard this word a million times. Probably every other person has told you about consistency. But truth is, it's only popular for a reason. If you are not consistent, there's no way you're going to get job done. At the time you set for yourself regarding my third tip, the tip I gave earlier about setting a set time every day. Once you sit down, make sure that no matter what, at that set time, you've cleared your schedule. If possible, turn off your notifications, turn off your phone, get rid of everything that is going to be a distraction to you so that you can focus and there is nothing hindering your path. Because if you're not consistent, if okay, you say I said like I was doing before 2 to 4 every day for writing, but then when I wake up by 2, I scroll on my phone to 4 o'clock, then I realize oh, time has gone for writing. I should go and do other things. You just realize that your time is going, and it's like you set that time, oh, yes, but are you following up with it? And you won't have the inspiration to write every day. That is even promised. No matter how passionate you are about writing, no matter how much you love it, no matter how much you want to finish that debut novel, you won't have the inspiration to write every day. But at times I just sit down and then the words flow. Give yourself 20 minutes and 20 minutes of writing, active writing, not 20 minutes of imagining, thinking up scenes in your head, acting out scenes. No, 20 minutes of actively writing. And if you realize by the end of that 20 minutes, nothing came out or you don't feel the inspiration, then maybe you can leave it. But I guarantee you it's not going to be like that because every time I've sat down, 5 minutes is what I give myself normally. And by that 5 minutes, I've gotten into the groove of things. It's not going to be the same for everybody, but that's why I'm saying give yourself 20 minutes. At the 20 minutes mark, if you know that nothing, absolutely nothing is coming forth, then you can discard it. Give yourself a chance to reach your word count goal for the day. My last but definitely not the least tip I'll tell you is involve God in the process. I'm a Christian writer, so definitely I have to involve God in my process. God is the author of all creativity. He's the one who imparted creativity in all his children. So basically doing it without him can be like, I don't want to say a waste of time, but you could be excellent, you could be better involving the author of all creativity. Just imagine how mad yeah, I'm trying to look for a better word, but just imagine how perfect quote unquote your art is going to be if you involve God in it. Okay, and yes, I have a bonus tip. If you really love writing the way you say you do, make it a priority. Decide that no matter what, nothing is going to stop you from writing. The way you treat school if you're a student, you treat your partner if you're in a relationship, your family, you decide that writing is going to be part of your priorities and probably high on the list. I didn't say it should be your utmost priority because if you don't make it a priority, every other thing is going to come and life will happen. That is what, no matter who you are, life is going to happen. And maybe for a month you are going through it, and then because you didn't make writing a priority, writing is suffering. But if you decide to make writing a priority, it's like no matter what happens, no matter how beat up you are, even if other things are suffering, you know that your writing is not because it's one of the things that are up there. You might have seasons of burnout or less creativity than normal. And in those stages or in those phases of your life, I would suggest do things that make you happy. Writing is one of the things that should make you happy, yes, but since that is not working, maybe you go on a walk. If you're an artist, you draw, you paint, do things that make you happy, you read your Bible, anything that you know is going to fill your soul, do it. And then when you get refreshed, you come back and you see that with time, the love for writing comes back and it's easier to get back into the groove of things. So that's all from me today. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope these tips were helpful for you. If you're a beginner writer, writer or a seasoned writer even, and you are planning on starting a new book or publishing a new book or finally starting your writing journey, I hope these tips were helpful for you. If you want to see what life looks like for a student writer, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications and stay tuned because you don't want to miss what is coming in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one.